Welcome, you're watching Vox News, your daily evening news with Rita Kamkumo. Our headlines today: Malian president reaches out to the newly formed coalition that is demanding his resignation, says he's ready for talks. The Somali government officially recognized the disputed leader of the semi-autonomous Jubaland state after months of tensions. Morocco's King Mohammed VI successfully underwent heart surgery for the second time at the clinic of the Royal Palace in Rabat. Our top story today: Mali's embattled President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta reached out on Sunday to the opposition coalition, which is demanding his resignation, saying on public television that he is ready for talks. The president's moves comes after tens of thousands of people demonstrated in the capital Bamako on the 5th of June, demanding his departure under the leadership of a newly formed alliance made of influential Imam Mahmoud Dicko, opposition parties, and a civil society movement led by filmmaker and former Minister of Culture Umar Sissoko. Demonstrators denounced the lack of government response to jihadist violence in the country, the poor management of economic and social affairs, as well as the recent parliamentary elections, which the president won despite fraud accusations. In Somalia, the government finally recognized on Sunday the disputed leader of the Jubaland state, one of its 5 semi-autonomous provinces located in the southwest of the country on the border with Kenya after months of tensions. However, the government only referred to Ahmed Madobi as interim leader of the semi-autonomous state, a term he immediately rejected. The Somali government specified that it recognizes Madobi as the head of the interim administration of the Jubaland region for 2 years, contrary to the 4 years prescribed by the constitution of the semi-autonomous region. As a result, the Jubaland government rejected this recognition in a statement. Jubaland President Ahmed Madobi, an ally for Kenya, was re-elected in August 2019 after a disputed election, which Mogadishu, the federal government, had refused to acknowledge. In Ivory Coast, former leader Charles Blé Goudé's political party launched on Saturday the Voice of the People, a new civil society coalition intended to mobilize 3 million new voters and wait on the October presidential election. No less than 18 civil society groups and associations have signed the charter of this new platform, presided by Blé Goudé himself, and aimed at working towards a peaceful, democratic and inclusive election. In his statement issued by video conference from The Hague, where he is on parole pending a possible appeal from the prosecutor of the International Criminal Court, the former Ivorian Minister of Youth called for the massive mobilization of Ivorian citizens on the electoral list. He asked the members of his party to go down the field to facilitate the enlistment of new adults and other citizens. Blé Goudé, who also announced that he is not a candidate in the upcoming election, nevertheless intends to play a leading role in the conduct of the electoral process. In Burundi, the Constitutional Court on Friday ruled that the country's newly elected leader, Evariste Ndayishimiye, be sworn in without delay, following the sudden death of President Pierre Nkurunziza on the 8th of June.
Considering, however, that the death of President Pierre Nkurunziza occurred the day after the elections for a new president in the person of Mr. Evariste Ndayishimiye, who was only waiting for the taking of the oath to take office, the court decides that the referral is lawful, that it is competent, that the application is admissible, that the office of the President of the Republic is vacant. The President-elect, in the person of Mr. Evariste Ndayishimiye, should be sworn in as soon as possible.
Du président élu en la personne de Monsieur Evariste Ndayishimiye.
President-elect Evariste Ndayishimiye signed the presidential palace guestbook on Saturday while taking part in a memorial ceremony in honor of President Nkurunziza, to whom he paid a vibrant tribute. In Morocco, King Mohammed VI successfully underwent a heart surgery on Sunday at the clinic of the Royal Palace in Rabat. It is the second time that the king has undergone surgery to cure his heart rhythm disorder after a successful intervention carried out in February 2018. The king's medical team, composed of Moroccan doctors, recommended additional radio frequency ablation. In Morocco, King Mohammed VI on Sunday ordered the government to send medical aid to 15 African nations, including Senegal, the Congo or Burkina Faso, to help them combat coronavirus. The medical aid is composed of about 8 million face masks, 30,000 liters of hydroalcoholic gel, or 75,000 boxes of chloroquine, to cite a few. All products and medical equipment were manufactured in Morocco and meet the standards of the World Health Organization, according to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. This operation, which began on Sunday, comes after King Mohammed VI announced in April that he will launch a solidarity action in favor of African countries to allow a sharing of experiences in the management of the coronavirus pandemic. In Botswana, the capital city Gaborone is back on lockdown. The government declared a total lockdown until further notice in the city, effective from Saturday, after the discovery of 12 new positive cases of coronavirus, most of them in the capital. Leaving the Gaborone region is now prohibited, and only essential services are allowed to remain open, according to the COVID-19 task force. The newly detected cases, including 4 new imported cases recorded at the border and 8 at a private hospital in Gaborone, brought to 60 the number of virus infections in the country of about 2 million inhabitants. In Equatorial Guinea, the government announced the easing of the strict lockdown imposed since mid-April to prevent the spread of the coronavirus pandemic. As of this Monday, shops and restaurants are allowed to reopen, as well as places of worship. Mask wearing and social distancing remain mandatory in public places. Domestic flights and international flights are allowed to resume, but people arriving from abroad will need to carry a coronavirus negative diagnostic certificate from less than 48 hours, according to the authorities, who urge citizens to remain on guard. Shareholders of the African Export-Import Bank have voted and reappointed Professor Benedict Orama as president of the Pan-African Financial Institution for a second 5-year term. The decision was announced on Sunday in Cairo, following Afreximbank's 27th annual general meeting of shareholders. Professor Orama said the bank's ultimate goal under his second term of office is the realization of Africa's strategic ambition to create an integrated market. He highlighted that between 2015 and 2019, Afreximbank disbursed more than $30 billion in support of African trade, with over $15 billion channeled towards the financing and promotion of intra-African trade. In office since 2015, Professor Orama's reappointment was one of the critical decisions taken by shareholders during the bank's 2020 general meeting. In South Africa, the government intends to design a 2,500 megawatt nuclear program in an attempt to overcome the country's power supply issues. The Energy Ministry explained on Sunday that planning is necessary for the security of energy supply to future generations, and that the country will seek information on the nuclear build program at an affordable pace and price. South Africa is the only African country with a civil nuclear program, including 2 reactors at the Kuber power plant in operation for over 3 decades, producing about 4% of the country's total energy. 90% of the country's electricity is currently generated from coal-fired stations, but the poorly maintained plants are aging, causing frequent power cuts that have stricken a blow on the country's economy. In Mozambique, non-governmental organization Friends of the Earth accused France this Monday of planting a ticking climate bomb in the country, in which French oil giant Total is developing a mega project to exploit natural gas by 2023. The organization is blaming, quote, a myriad of French companies in the fossil fuel industry and adjacent sectors, unquote, arguing that $60 billion will be invested in the extensive underwater reserves discovered by Mozambican authorities in the early 2010s. These reserves, located in the northern coast, are estimated at 5,000 billion cubic meters and could transform Mozambique into a leading exporter of liquefied natural gas. The organization also accuses France of fueling tensions in the Mozambican province of Cabo Delgado, where gas reserves are located. This region has been the scene for 2.5 years of an Islamist rebellion that has killed at least 1,000 people. Finally, in Kenya, fans of late Kenyan musician Bernard Onyango Gutu, also known as Abenija Chiga, defied safety measures orders imposed by the government to limit the spread of coronavirus at his attempted burial last Friday in Kisumu. The funeral, which was to take place in small committee because of the pandemic, was prevented by out-of-control fans, to the family's dismay.
Let the fan plan, let the family plan, then in 1 week time, in a position to Baramel, the reason why I was Kama Benny would be having corona, we would request the government to do what they are doing. Now he has not have that. As the family, the crowd we are today, at the fact that is in the ground for COVID, we will not manage. So we are requesting so that we plan and manage that COVID, so when they come for the burial, we are in a position to manage everything.
Ben died yesterday. Ben died last night at 3 a.m. So Ben can't be buried now. No. How? Hata kama ilikuwa ni kesi ya corona test must take 72 hours.
The singer, who was popularly known for his song Mano Kasinde, died last Thursday after he was admitted to the hospital with respiratory complications. His fans demanded a public funeral on Friday and did not hesitate to seize his coffin. The police later fired rounds and tear gas to restore order. That's it for today. Thank you for watching Vox News.